Hey, what's up you guys? You're watching Team APS, Paul here, and in case you've been living under a rock, the new ban list finally updated. Last night, it's been long awaited. I'm really happy to see it. I'm pretty sure everybody is. So in today's video, we are going to go over all the changes, what I think about them, what the implications are, and over the next couple of days, I'll also be making a lot of other ban list related videos about, meta decks, rogue decks, cards to invest in, some of the bigger implications of this. So stick around for all that, and of course, let me know down in the comments what you think of this new ban list and where you see this new format going. Alright, let's hop in. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the cards that are banned. Here we are on the website, and the first banned card is Samsara Lotus. So this is interesting. I'm pretty sure this card was just banned because it was part of an FTK with, I want to say, Top Logic Bomber Dragon. I don't know. I don't really follow FTKs because I assume that they won't be super tournament relevant, but this card goes. I think this is like part of Konami's plan to just ban a lot of plant monsters because it seems like plants always end up in these FTKs somehow. So Dandelion's gone, this thing's gone. I'm sure that, what is it, Phoenician Cluster Armor, like all that stuff, it just eventually has to go. So, and that's not too big of a deal. Now here we get a new banned Link monster, and it's not Firewall Dragon, it is Nightmare Goblin. So this is interesting. Nightmare Goblin is a card that had been in talks for getting banned, like alongside Firewall perhaps, or maybe instead of Firewall, and it seems like it took the hit. I get it. I mean, this card definitely was one of the big enablers of U-Links. It has perfect arrows for it, and it gives you, the extra normal summon and makes all your co-linked monsters untargetable. So it's a very strong card. I think that this is a good call. I really would have preferred Firewall itself just get banned. I mean, we all know that's still kind of the problem card, but I guess it has plot armor. So Nightmare Goblin goes. Decks can still extra link. There are still like monsters that point to both sides. There's still Proxy Dragon and Ib, but this was definitely kind of the enabler card. So I'm okay with this. Next we've got MX Saber Invoker. So this is interesting too. It was kind of like one of those Goki sort of startup cards. You could like make it and then like summon really like whatever you wanted. But I gotta say I think I would have preferred Isolde. They probably don't want to like have two banned Link monsters. Maybe that was what they were thinking here. But yeah, this is sort of a nerf to Gokis. It is a bit of a nerf though to other decks that used Invoker. There were a few like kind of niche like rogue things that probably made use of it. I don't have like too much of a problem with this card, so it's no longer a thing. And I believe that's it for the banned cards. So no spells or traps got banned this time around. Maybe to some people's dismay. Now we get into the limited cards. This is huge. Assault Core. At first I thought they were doing this to like just because they hated ABCs and hated ABC players, and maybe that's still the case. But I actually did some research and found out that this was part of another one of those like Firewall, Cannon Soldier, burn loops. So Assault Core had to take the brunt of the hit. I don't really understand why they don't just get rid of things like Cannon Soldier and like Toon Cannon Soldier and Firewall Dragon. But since they did, this seems like this is going to be really crippling to ABC decks. And I feel like it's just kind of like not fair. Like, I mean, I'm not a big ABC fan. You guys probably know that. But, I mean, I don't think that they deserve like just a random bit of their engine to just be like, I don't know. That's very harsh. I don't think I agree too much with that pick. I mean, cool for me personally. I don't like ABCs, but like, that's not really fair. Next we get Stratos back, so the meme can finally die. Alright, that's all I'm saying about him. Next is Morphing Jar. Now this is actually kind of a big deal because, well, maybe it's not a big deal. I don't know. Like, flip effects seem like they're still going to be really slow. So, like, setting him, I mean, kind of telegraphs that it's set. On the other hand, though, maybe like in a mill deck, it still could have some use. It's probably part of a ploy to push dangers, but I don't even think that they would run it because I still just don't think flip effects are fast enough. So maybe that said, it's fine for it to come off the list because it might not be very impactful. I don't see this making a huge deal, though there is another card later on that you guys probably know will make a bigger difference. So next we get a new limited Link monster joining Firewall Dragon as Heavy Metal Foes Electromite. I mean, I had a hunch that Pendulums would get another hit. I was always wondering if it was going to be this or like Chronograph Sorcerer. So I guess it's Electromite. I don't know. This is something that's interesting because I think that Pendulums weren't, I mean, like, they weren't, like, dominating the meta, right? Like, but it was possible to run through 2 or 3 Electromites in a turn and make like a firewall and do some crazy shenanigans with that. It's a little unfortunate for Pendulum players because it feels like, you know, Master Roll 4 kills you, then they give you Electromite, then they take Electromite away, but at least it's still at 1. So maybe this is kind of how Konami intends it to be. Like, maybe they intend Electromite to be what Pendulum players can still use as their kind of toolbox resource link monster, but they can't abuse it. It just sucks though, because now if this thing gets like, you know, Ghost Ogred or Gamma'd or, you know, whatever, that's really it. Now, there can be like replacements, right? Like, I think that, you know, Pendulum players can definitely still use, like, you know, I don't know, Wee Witch's Apprentice and like that type of stuff. But this hurts. This means Pendulums get a lot less explosive power, a lot less toolboxing, a lot less longevity. Kind of, in my opinion, solidifies that Pendulums are not going to be a top of the meta type of pick, even as maybe like a rogue. I don't know. I don't know if I like this, but it is what it is. So there's that. Next, we get Psyframe Lord Omega, limited to 1. I think this is pretty well deserved. This card has like hand loops, and everybody kind of knows it. It's an annoying card, but I think by being at 1, it means that, like, you know, Psyframe's going to obviously still function. You can still use it with Gamma, so you get that little reward. And, you know, you can still use it like in a Sheer Nui deck, for example. But it just means that there aren't like hand loops, so I don't have a problem with that. Plus, this thing, when it goes to the grave, can recycle. So in a grindy game, it can still function like Omega does, but it's just not gonna have dumb loops involved. So pretty fair hit. Next, we get Evil Storm Exiton Knight back. So, that's pretty cool. I mean, I honestly thought this was gonna like come sooner because like, it got like reprinted last year. But this is cool. We get that like rank 4 toolbox. It kind of gets a buff, and it means that now you can have like a chainable field nuke. This is probably one of the bigger changes on this ban list, but I don't think that this card will be as impactful because it is Master Roll 4 now. And so, you know, making this card just at a glance will still clog up your extra monster zone. So you'll have to use it to like blink it away and make other stuff. So maybe it won't be as strong. There's still a lot of ways to negate it. And, you know, there's still Effect Failure. There's now Infinite Impermanence. But it's a good way to maybe deal with like extra link boards sometimes. I don't know. I mean, like, it still has to destroy cards, so maybe it's not that great. But it can punish overextending in general. So I think that's good. I mean, I don't disagree with this card coming back. I'm just wondering how much of an impact it'll make. Next, we get Hero Lives. This is at 1 now. I think that this was kind of the trade-off for Stratos getting limited. It feels like it, you know, that's kind of how it had to be. Hero Lives is a pretty nutty card. If you have 3 copies of it, it means like Stratos will just be getting like dropped from the deck like turn 1 really often. And I'm already like apprehensive about Stratos even being back. It still doesn't have like a hard less return on its effects, so they probably don't want too much of the nonsense going on. So I think it's a fair trade. Like 2 Hero Lives for 1 Stratos. I think people can be happy with that. Card Destruction. So this is big. This is huge. It might be the biggest thing on this ban list. So this is limited to 1 now. Now, obviously, people are gonna say like this is to push Dangers, and I agree because Dangers will love having this card as a staple. But I mean, this helps a lot of different decks. It helps in Burning Abyss. It helps in Infernoids. I think it could be a staple in most decks, really, because it's card destruction. It's just fundamentally quite strong. I think the neg 1 that you take won't be that big of a deal. And it has a kind of interesting interaction with hand traps, actually, because if your opponent has Ash Blossom, this pretty much will always bait it out or get rid of it. Because if you use card destruction, your opponent will have to use Ash Blossom if they got it, you know, to stop the card destruction. Otherwise, they will lose their Ash Blossom. I mean, I guess they could take the chance of maybe drawing another Ash Blossom off the card destruction, but that gets dicey. So it's kind of like a free way to bait Ash and deal with hand traps, like sorta-ish. So I don't know. I'm actually really interested in seeing where this goes. Hands are not safe anymore. Next is Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Drones. A cool hit, a fair hit, a pretty predictable hit. This means that you kind of can't use Sky Strikers in every single little deck now. That's fair. It kind of sucks for like some of the more rogue decks that were using Hornet drones as a way to help get link material out. But I still think this is fine. It's you know, pure Sky Striker decks won't care too much. They still can function. I still think that'll be a good strategy. But it just means that like Trickstars and other stuff won't have such an easy time running these types of cards. So I'm okay with it. Super Poly is limited, kind of weird, but maybe not so weird since they're going for this whole like, you know, Elemental Hero, like Solid Man or whatever it's called, just came out, and like it plus like Orpheus Scorpio and stuff can search this, and I don't know, like Cyber Dragons can use it, Thunder Dragons can use it, a couple of different decks can use this. I don't know, like you can out extra link boards with this because your opponent can't respond to it, it doesn't like destroy or anything. Maybe that's like part of the application. I'm interested in seeing where it goes. It's at 1, so if you don't have a way to search it, then it's probably not the most reliable thing, but it's not bad. It's an interesting like power spell to get back. Some cards that came to 2. We've got Cosmo Dark Destroyer. I really like this. I think that Cosmo's, you know, power creep is real, and they already are struggling a lot, so 2 Dark Destroyer is useful. Don't think it'll make it like really a meta contender, but it helps, and I'm sure Cosmo players will rejoice. Called by the Grave is limited to 2. This is the one thing on this list that's actually the most confusing to me, outside of like Firewall not getting banned and like maybe Assault Core. Called by the Grave to 2 is strange. Like in a game where people are complaining about hand traps, Konami decides to semi-limit the card that like counters hand traps? I don't know, like is that meant to be some weird indirect way for Gokis not to maybe be able to answer? I don't know what this is about. And to 2 is so strange, because like I never felt like this was that much of a problem at 3? Maybe people just run Gamma now. I don't know. Limiter removal at 2. I guess it finally broke its limits, you might say. This is just some cheesy card. Like, I never liked limiter removal. I always felt like it was like a random sacky win you had to worry about. Now, like, Cyber Dragons will use it more. Maybe Cosmos or something. I don't know. I guess Kagura can use it too, aren't they? Isn't that a machine? So, yeah, that's neat. Scapegoat to 2. I guess this helps. Like, I don't know. I feel like this should have gone to 1, to be honest. Scapegoat's cool and all, but like, Scapegoat to 2 is like cool and all, but I think 1 would have made more of an impact. I don't like that Scapegoat lets people make, you know, just like bore load and stuff just off the cuff, like whatever. But this is great, sort of. Terraforming to 2, this is something that I've always been like kind of hoping to happen. I know a lot of people won't like this hit, but it is a consistency hit to the decks that utilize field spell spam. So I guess that's, you know, Light Stage, that's Alistair with like Magical Meltdown, that's Union Hanger, all those cards, Cosmos with their Cosmo Town. So if they wanted to make an impact, they probably could have put this to 1. I think it's like a slap on the wrist. I don't think it's going to majorly change things. And maybe it means people will finally use like more set rotation or Metaverse. I don't mind it. It's cool. And then some cards that aren't on the list anymore are Apocryphal Towers, Destiny Hero Disc Commander with its new errata. That's probably going to be coming out in Legendary Hero decks, I assume. Barrel from Different Dimensions at 3. Don't think that makes a big difference. And Ring of Destructions at 3, which doesn't seem like it'll make a big difference either. So let's also talk about the cards that were not hit on this list, because I think that that's a big deal before we kind of go into our final thoughts. So, Fireball Dragon, it escaped. I guess this card really just has like plot armor. If it's not gonna get hit now at a time when it's causing a lot of problems, I guess it's just never gonna get hit. It's so strange to me that Konami will just, you know, they really are like going just everywhere around this card except actually hitting it. I mean, like Nightmare Goblin, Assault Core instead of Toon Cannon Soldier, you know, Electromite because like 2 Electromites made Firewall and they did stuff, so let's hit Electromite. Like, man, are they ever gonna actually hit like Firewall? I guess not. So it's not hit. Trickstars. I know a lot of people probably feel like Trickstars didn't get enough of a hit. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, this really was a slap on the wrist for them. Reincarnation's still here. Droll, which I'll get into in a second, is still here. We still have 3 Light Stage. We still have 3 Candina. We still have 3 Lycris. Like, I was hoping to see some hits there, but maybe Konami doesn't think it's a problem. Like, maybe they think that the small residual nerf of like 1 less terraforming, like 1 less scapegoat, you know, maybe that's enough to affect trick stars, I really doubt it. I don't know. And then hand traps. Hand traps are a big thing that didn't get hit. I'm okay with hand traps. I guess I made my peace with them, but I guess it's what's really honestly called by the Great King. Yeah, but whatever. That's the Konami thing. So what are the implications? What do I think? What are my final thoughts? Well, I think that this is kind of more of an incremental power shift in the game. I don't really feel like, anything that came back is going to make a huge difference. Like, Stratos is a big deal, but I don't actually think Heroes will be like a top tier thing. Those will be a very popular, maybe rogue strategy, fan favorite thing. Altergeist are, I guess, a little bit better. They didn't get hit, and a lot of their competition got hit. So, relative to the competition, I guess they get a little bit better, comparatively. Gokis, I think, are still going to be just fine. I think that they will still be extra linking. In fact, I know they can. And so, like, they still have Firewall, they still have, like, Divine Sword, Rematch, lots of Link Monsters, Summon Sorceress, like, Isolde. But there is no Goblin, there's also no Invoker, so, like, maybe the plays won't be as explosive. I'm not sure, I'm not a Goki player, I'm not a person to ask. But I think that they will still be a viable deck. Pendulums seem like they're just kind of out the window. Pure Sky Strikers will probably still be alright. Invoke seems like a pretty strong pick. I'll go into more detail on these decks in another video about, like, the top 5 meta decks or something like that. Maybe this game's a little slower, like a little grindier. Like, I don't know. It's like without Electromite spam and maybe with extra links being a bit harder to do, and then like now like you can get kind of like punished a bit by like Exit Tonight. I don't know. So maybe it'll be a grindier with like Altergeist and stuff on top. That might be a stretch. It probably isn't gonna be that much different. And the cards that came back, they're whatever. All in all, I find this list like I don't want to give it a thumbs up because I don't really think it did enough. I think it's, like I said, an incremental power shift, not like probably what people were hoping for. There were weird hits. Like, I don't know if I like Assault Core just having to get limited out of nowhere and just hurt ABCs. I don't know if I agree with like Called by the Grave. I don't like kind of the slap on the wrist style approach to this list, but it's a ban list. I'll give it time. I don't know, like Y6 Columbus is coming up, so we'll see what this new format holds. That's gonna be it. Those are my opinions on the ban list. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I know people are, a lot of people are really happy, like, oh, Stratos is back. And a lot of people are really mad, like, oh, my, rogue decks got hit. It's gonna be a crazy format. I'm really interested in seeing where it all goes. But before I go, one last thing. I and everybody else in Team APS is going to be at YCS Columbus next weekend, the first major event of this format, actually. So if you're going to be there, be sure to meet us, say hello. You can get one of these awesome Team APS wristbands if you say hi to any of us. That'll be cool. We're looking forward to seeing you guys there. It'll be fun. And like I said, subscribe and hit the notification bell because there will be many more ban lists and new format related videos coming up. So yeah, it's going to be it. I will see you guys in the next one.